Hey everybody, it's old Watachi again. This video here, it's a crappy day out today, where I'm at. But this video here, I've kind of said some things in other videos about federal taxes and everything, but and people ask me questions about it all the time. But there's too much. I've been studying this for too long, and there's no way I could put it all in a 15-minute video or even an hour video. There's just no way. And there's, unless you know what the laws are and what, you unless you've done the research, you don't want to be messing with them anyway. Well, I spent a lot of time doing the research. The truth of the story is, which they're never going to tell you, and that's federal income tax is a voluntary tax from we the people. I know you think I'm crazy. I know people are going to argue with it. But from the last numbers I heard, there's right now 46%, I believe, of the people in this country do not pay federal income taxes. 46%. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video is for one reason, and that's to try to get you people to understand something and how the government works. Most of the government today they've all been lawyers, judges, people like that have been involved in all this fakery, because that's what it is. They've basically made you believe something that wasn't true. And that's all I can call it, is fakery. But what they do, and the point I want to get across, and you're going to figure this out one day. I'm just trying to guide you to where you can figure it out sooner. But you have to look at, like, let's say the federal income tax, the law itself, the whole law. You and I can sit down and read that sucker. We could study it for a year. You could sit down and read the actual law that the government put together, that for the federal income tax law. You could sit down and read it and study it for a year, and you still wouldn't have a clue at what it said. Ain't no way in the world you could ever have a clue at what the actual document is saying. Because there's two parts to that federal income tax law. There's two parts to it. There's the part we get to see, and then there's the part that the government gets to see, or the Congress, or the politicians and the judges and the lawyers and stuff. They all get to see that shit. But we don't. And that's called the IRC, is for short. And it's Internal Revenue Code Book. This book alone is 70,000 pages long. 70,000 pages for a code book, not for the law itself. For the code book it takes to be able to read the law and understand what the law says. 70,000 pages, people. From what the figures I can come up with, and all the research I've done, they used 25 lawyers and told them basically to confuse this shit up so bad that there ain't no way anybody could ever understand it. That's basically what they did. And they, not only did they use words that are, you'd have to hunt up in black law dictionaries and stuff to even figure those out, but they also did a little area where they just completely took a word that we use every day, let's say individual. The word we use, the definition we were given in school, that way we use the word, since we've been taught that word, is not what the way the IRS uses it. And they've got a section in their code book of their words and definitions. And individual, from all the research I've done, I've seen pieces and parts of it, an individual relates, the definition to an individual is any incorporated entity. So that means any corporation. So that means the only people that have to, by law, file federal income taxes is corporations. And then there's a whole thing I read in there where an income for a corporation is over and above their cost to run their business, expenses and everything, any profits they may make over and above their running expenses, their operation expenses and shit. So that's the only income they have to worry about. All the other money that they use to pay their bills, that's not considered income, according to the actual IR, or the Internal Revenue, not the Internal Revenue, the damn federal income tax law. Now, see, you and I, we think if we saw in the tax law that it said all individuals are required to file federal income taxes, file for federal income taxes. Well, we think that, okay, individual. Well, we've been told that's me and you, and everybody's an individual. So that's everybody. So we just voluntarily basically do it. Because I can tell you this, folks, because I've been doing it a long time. When you go to a job and you fill out your W-2 and you're filling out all your dependents and stuff, there's a spot right at the very bottom that it says you didn't know, or I think it says you didn't have any income last year and you don't plan on having any income this year. And if you agree with both those statements, then you write the word exempt in that square. It's on every W-2. I've done it for years. As soon as you write exempt in there, they can't cut federal income taxes on your paycheck. They can't. You're not giving them permission to do it. If you don't write exempt in there, you're giving them permission to do it. And believe me, folks, I've had companies tell me, you cannot do that. We have never seen anybody do this. You cannot do that. Well, why is it on there then? Why is that exempt spot on that paperwork if I cannot do it? Well, we'll put it through, but you ain't going to be able to get away with that. Sure enough, I got away with it. It's because it's a volunteer tax. Now, where they get you is when you file that you have income. When you file it and say, yeah, my income was whatever you made at your job that year, the year before. For that year, I mean. And you claim that as income. So you send the paperwork to the government saying, okay, this is how much income I had. The place that you work for sends a thing to them saying they paid you that kind of money. Although, see, there's another whole rabbit hole to go down. They're not even paying you with money, people. It's at best a promissory note. It says it right at the top. A Federal Reserve note. It's not backed by gold, silver, nothing. It's just backed by, I guess, a pat on the back and a promise you can use it. That's it. It's not money, people. And and a matter of fact, it even states that income is not something, or in the Constitution it states you cannot charge somebody a tax, that the government cannot charge us a tax on time that we trade to somebody for where we give up our labor or our skills and they give us money in place for it, because that's an even trade. We're giving up our time, our labor, our experience, or whatever, and they're paying us money for what we know in order to get us to help them to do what they need done. You cannot call that income. We're trading our lifetime, time in our life, and giving it to this person, and they're paying you for that time. That's not income, people. Even the corporations get to pay for what their expenses, whatever it costs them to run before they start accumulating income. But you don't. See, you guys don't know. You guys don't know because you ain't never read the law. You take your taxes over here to H&R Block and all these other stupid places that think they know what the tax law states and shit. All they're going by is what they was taught to do. They don't know the law either. I've walked into many of them and asked them, let me ask you something. Who has the IRC, the Internal Revenue Code book, in this office right here that I can look at it and see it? Because if you don't have one in here, you don't have a clue what the law says. None of them have it. None of them. None of them's ever even seen it because you're not allowed to have it. I've offered to buy it from the government. I told them I wanted a copy of it. They will not give it to you. They will break out they'll take a print, like highlight an area of it and send you a piece of it, a bite of it. But they're not going to give you a copy of the 70,000 pages. They're not going to do it. That's why they've got all you people. And you people are all basically paying a entity, which is not even our government, to screw you. You're bending over. You're opening up your wallet first, and then you're bending over and you're taking it. Because that's all you're doing. All you're doing is, how do you think congressmen and senators that make less than $200,000 a year being paid to be a congressman or a senator becomes a millionaire in 1-2 years in, and multi-millionaire by the time they retire? How do you think they do this, folks? It ain't because they're saving their $180,000 a year that they get, because that don't add up. They're bitching about old Trump, I don't know, doing some kind of business dealings or something while he's president, which there is no law that says he can't. Just most of them never do. But it's okay for them. Oh, I wrote a book. That's how I made this million, like Bernie Sanders. I wrote a book. Oh, I give speeches. They pay me $500,000, $1 million of speech. This is the kind of bullshit they tell us. And that's how they got their millions, off of a less than $200,000 a year job. Come on, people. All you're doing is giving them money to fucking live high on the hog. That's all you're doing. And to control you. Well, if that's what you people want to do, then have at it. That's all I can say. That's a little snippet of what I know about the federal income taxes and shit, and the lies, the changing the definition of words. And it's in everything, people. Even any contracts you might go sign with a lawyer, where lawyers are involved, shit, guarantee you that's why it takes a lawyer to read it, because they know what's bullshit and what ain't. You don't. So, one last thing, may God bless us all, because that's the only person, or the only entity that will be able to save us. That's it. Donald Trump ain't going to save nobody. He's going to save it because he's one of them. He's going to save himself. His family will be all right. But he's not going to. And you know what? I keep saying we've got another 4 years of him, so we're going to see the true Trump come out in his last 4 years. But you know what everybody needs to think about is what happens if he don't win the rigged election, or the election. What happens? Civil war? Who knows, people? Maybe we go back to a North and a South, because I'm telling you what, I cannot live with Democratic rule. Democrats and their way they want to rule. Because I'm a part of the Republic of the United States of America, not the democracy of the United States of America. I'm not a part of no democracy. I'm a part of a republic. And it will always be that way. And above that, I'm a part of I'm a part of Christianity. So, like I said, may God bless us all, because we're going to need it. You guys have a good day out there. It's a sucky one here.